Shalom, shalom, shalom. All praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, which is to say in the Paleo Hebrew, Yahweh, which is the name of our Heavenly Father, meaning He is, Bahashem, meaning in the name, Yahweh Shai, meaning He is our salvation, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus a so-called black man. This is Updates with the Word. Updates with the Word. And the first update regarding the Word is from this website by the name of the New York Post. And the headline reads, Historic tourist attraction loses 170K worth of donations after going cashless. Okay. And this article is in regards to a historic attraction, that being of the Roman baths, one of the last historic Roman baths to be left, for the experience of tourists to come experience, which was turned later into a, sort of wishing well, because the bath itself was taken out of commission. So now it's been, turned over into such as a wishing well. But now they're saying you can't even throw coins in this, wishing well type of tourist attraction. Now you could either use the contact payment option, or use the cash box. No more throwing your coins into this bath and making a wish. Okay, showing you that we are further trending into a more cashless society where, hey, they're going to just outright do away with cash. Okay. And the article reads, a popular UK tourist attraction has lost a whopping $170,000 worth of donations after it banned cash. So they were roughly raking in 170,000 worth of cash just by the wishing well alone. It says visitors to the Roman baths in Bath have been stopped from throwing money into the historic attraction and are instead asked to make a contactless payment. So they don't want you to no longer throw your coins into this, Roman bath attraction, but instead they want you to make a contactless payment. Okay, I guess via, by the way, of your smartphone. All right. Or if you don't have a smartphone, you can make your donations in the box that they have set aside for you to put your cash in. But as far as the experience of you tossing a coin into the, Roman baths like a wishing well, they have done away with that. And it says, but the move has had devastating consequences. The charity organization behind the well-known site banned the use of the wishing well in March 2022. In the last financial year, it collected just $17,000 in donations, despite welcoming 1 million visitors in 2023. Visitors are greeted with a sign that said, "Please do not throw coins in the bath. Tap the contactless point or use the cash box to make your offerings." See, and that takes away the whole experience that the visitors are coming from across the world, the globe, to come visit. Okay, they want their opportunity to toss in a physical piece of coin or metal into this bath and make a wish. Showing you that this world is completely, gone, man. Here it is, 2024, and you still got individuals that's making wishes, okay? Believing that they could toss a coin in and have some type of good luck. But now, since they have taken that away, they've lost, a considerable amount of money, okay? So it says visitors were greeted with a sign that said, "Please do not throw coins in the bath. Tap the contactless point or use the cash box to make your offerings." Okay? So hey, hey, the things that you once took for granted, they're taking them away from you slowly but surely, okay? Your make a wish, toss in a coin and, make a wish, knowing that it doesn't really make a difference, but you got some individuals that actually believe that, okay? But now here it is, this historic tourist attraction is losing money because they are taking away this aspect of the experience, okay, and instead replacing it with a contactless payment option or a cash box option, and people aren't coming halfway across the world to come make a contactless payment. No, they want their opportunity to toss in a coin or what have you into what they perceive to be now turned into a wishing well, okay? But, as you go on to further read this article, it's causing stress on the foundation, with all those coins sitting at the bottom, it's taking its toll on this foundation. So they're trying to say that, it's best that we go contactless and have contactless payments where cash is being, removed in order to preserve the foundation much longer so that tourists can come and still continue to, experience the experience, okay? But what is it doing in actuality? It's showing you that, hey, as a society, as a whole, this society is, moving towards that cashless payment, okay? Whether you want to accept it or not, they're going to strip away from you all your rights to what you believe that you have to use the option to pay things with cash, okay? And instead, they're going to replace it with, a contactless payment and then eventually that mark. So whether or not you are on board or not, that is besides the point. Either you get on board or you get left behind, okay? And I'm pretty sure people are still coming, but not as much as they once did, showing you that way, How long will you simple ones love simplicity? They still want to come to experience that, historic feeling, but it's not the same, okay? So this is another update with the word, okay? And the word that we are grabbing for this particular update is from the book of Revelation 13 and 16. And it reads, Revelation chapter 13 and verse 16. And he calls us all. And who is he? Esau, Edom, okay? This society, this kingdom, this rulership, okay? And it reads, Revelation 13 and 16. And he calls us all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. So this thing is going to be mandatory no matter what. No matter if you're at a venue, at a tourist attraction, wherever you're going, the option of using money as we currently know it as is going to be done away with. And instead, you're going to have to use these new forms of payments, okay? These digital payments that you're going to use with your mark that you're going to receive in your right hand or in your forehead. So this society, this, way of life as you know it is gradually being taken from up under you, okay? Whether you see it or not, it's gradually being removed from out of the grasp of your hand, okay? And there's pretty much nothing you can do about it, okay? You can fight and write to your Congress or, make an uproar about it, but at the end of the day, you can't offset prophecy. So this is the word pertaining this update, which is, and he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save, meaning except, he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Verse 18, here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. 666. So your favorite attractions, your favorite, sporting events, concerts, they're all going contactless, okay? Everything is being transferred over to the digital currency, okay? Whether you are ready or not, it's coming, all right? And this is the latest pertaining this prophecy, okay? So the headline reads: Historic tourist attraction loses 170K worth of donations after going cashless. Right, and much more, and many more businesses and companies are going to, lose a lot more because they're going to worry about trying to please their Patreons and, in fact, lose and go out of business. Okay. So they're going to have to make a tough decision. Do they please their patrons and go out of business, or do they please the beast system and continue to stay in business? Okay. And for the most part, they're going to continue to stay in business by, switching over to this beast system. All right. So this is a update with the word. Okay. Now let's go to the next update, which is, this pestilence. Okay, this is with ABC News, and the headline reads, as you can see, fourth human case of bird FLU linked to dairy cow outbreak. You see the three letters. It says the case was confirmed in a dairy worker in Colorado. So now this is the fourth case of the bird FLU infecting a human this year alone in America, okay? Showing you that what? We're not out of the woodworks yet. We still have to continue to watch and be sober as we go into these summer months leading into the what? The fall and winter, because we also know that this is an election year and anything and everything is on the table that they may and can use to do whatever it is that they're going to do to further, push their agenda. So our goal and our thing is that we have to be sober and be vigilant. So it reads, fourth human case of bird FLU linked to dairy cow outbreak. And it reads, the fourth human case of bird F linked to the current dairy cow outbreak was confirmed on Wednesday in a dairy worker in Colorado, according to the Center for Control and Prevention. Previously, one human case had been reported in Texas and 2 human cases reported in Michigan. As with the previous cases, the patient is a dairy farm worker who came into contact with cows that tested positive for the H5N1. Okay? Or the A, you see, and it says the worker was previously being monitored because of their exposure to infected cattle and reported symptoms to state health officials. Testing results are inconclusive at the state level, but specimens forwarded to the CD for additional testings were positive for influ. You see, and I'm not going to read that last part to throw off the what, but it says the patient reported eye symptoms only. They received treatment with oseltamivir, an antiviral, you see the word, used to treat, and you see the other word, and have since recovered. So as they're currently reporting it, it still hasn't raised a alarm that the public needs to be worried about. Okay, they're still seemingly keeping this at bay, which is just insulated isolated incidents from one state to the next. This thing hasn't really gone from human to human yet. Okay, that's what the cause of concern is. Okay, and until it actually is able to jump from human to human, we're just continuously to watch this thing, from the distance. But we are keeping an eye out for it. Okay, so it says the three letter alphabet says that You know what said the risk to the general public remains low, see? But advises people to avoid close, long, or unprotected exposure to sick or, you see it. People are also advised to avoid unprotected exposure to animal, excrement, litter, unpasteurized milk, or materials that have been touched by or close to animals with suspected or confirmed bird FLU. It says in early March, the U.S. Department of Agriculture announced a bird F strain that has sickened millions of birds across the U.S. was identified in several mammals this year, and that's where it all started back in March, and here it is June, now July. 3.5 months later, and this is the fourth case. Okay, so it's somewhat picking up because it went from one case a month to now it's probably like 1.1. So we're going to see how July and August closes out and see if any more cases develop, and eventually that human to human. Okay, we're going to see when that is actually going to be in the cards for them to use to further push their agenda. Okay, so this is Ezekiel 7:15. It says, the sword is without, and the pestilence and the famine within. He that is in the field shall die with the sword, and he that is in the city, famine and pestilence shall devour him. So this thing is going to spread like wildfire when it comes to the city. Because why? These cities are heavily, overpopulated and ran, by, more than its fair share of inhabitants. Okay. As far as the field, the country, you don't have to worry so much. But when this thing actually goes, human to human in the cities, especially these, overran cities like New York, Miami, Los Angeles, it's going to spread like wildfire. Okay. So these are things that we are watching out and being sober and being vigilant. Okay, we are continuing to update and use the word to filter and screen so that we can have a better understanding of what time we are going into. Okay, now this is 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 1. It says, but of the times and the seasons, brethren, you have no need that I write unto you, for yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. For when they shall say, peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. So although they saying the cause for concern is low right now, we ultimately understand that it's all a narrative, okay? And at their discretion, they could easily, amp this thing up, and it could go from a low cause of concern to a high impact cause of concern when it goes human to human. So we are continuously watching for this as well. Update with the word, okay? This is the pestilence, all right? Now, let's go to probably one more update with the word, and then we're going to probably close out afterwards. Okay, this is in regards to the Supreme Court. This is a couple of weeks old, but it's still relevant. It says Supreme Court allows White House to request removal of misinformation on social media. So the Supreme Court voted 6-3 that the White House can request social media sites to remove misinformation. Okay. Now, why do you say so what? Okay. Now the White House, seemingly is concerned about the fact that social media, popular social media sites, the popular social media sites, they can be heavily influenced and altering the outcome of a political year such as this year. Okay, so their concern is that, hey, if we can request these social media sites to take down misinformation like government conspiracies and things of that matter, we can have a more fair election. Okay, and so in doing so, the Supreme Court has requested that the White House can ask these social media website platforms to remove misinformation leading up into this election year. Okay. But ultimately, we know where they're going at with these government conspiracies, because the ultimate, you know, cause for concern for this society, this kingdom, is those of us that are in the truth that are, steady exposing them for their wickedness. Okay, they're not really, concerned about just some, Joe Smuck that has a idea that the government is being unfair to its citizens. They could care less. But they do have a cause of concern of, us that are in the truth that are using these platforms, YouTube and what have you, to push this truth out, okay? Especially in election year, okay? Because we have, we have precepts on deck, especially getting close to this year. I mean, especially when it gets closer to the election, we're going to come out with those precepts, particular in Deuteronomy, all right? So as the year progress and we get closer to, this devil making his move in this election, hey, precepts on deck, man, and they know that, okay? And they trying to get ahead of the curve by getting the Supreme Court to allow them to request certain misinformation to be taken down off of these social media platforms. And in doing so, the Supreme Court has granted them the right to request these, okay? Now people are in an uproar because they say, well, that's infringing on my First Amendment, okay? Be that it may, they are doing so under the guidelines of, hey, this is social media. You don't have to be on social media anyways. This is not a right, okay? It's not like you're out in the public on a public sidewalk. No, this is a private ran entity, okay? These social media platforms are presumably not ran, by a public sector, but indeed a private sector, okay? So they have the right to take down certain information if they do so, or if they see so, okay? So the White House is saying to the Supreme Court, we ask that you grant us the right to contact these social media platforms, especially getting closer to the elections, that, we can request from them to take down certain information that we deem, misinformation regarding government conspiracies and what have you, okay? And ultimately, that's going to inseminate or lead to the distribution of the famine of the word. It says the U.S. Supreme Court handed a major victory for the Biden administration Wednesday, throwing out a lower court ruling that had placed major restrictions on the ability of government officials to communicate with social media companies about their content moderation policies. While the court's ruling was procedural, it was nothing less a stark repudiation of two lower courts in the South in their eagerness to embrace conspiracy theories. You see? And this is all where it's going at, because, right now it's on the fence. You got some people that are on the fence of whether or not, those of us that are in the truth are actually telling the truth, or is it just conspiracy theory? And then you got those that, either believe it or don't. So the White House is trying to get ahead of all that and say, hey, if we could contact these social media platforms and, have them to take down certain misinformation, then, we could better off further progress and move our agenda forward, okay? So it says, while the court's ruling was procedural, it was nothing less a stark repudiation of two lower courts in the South in their eagerness to embrace conspiracy theories about alleged government corrosion of social media companies. And this is just, going into it, but, you see. So, hey, they are granted the ability, the right to contact these social media platforms in regards to conspiracy theories, particularly about the government, okay? So they can have these social media, who can be heavily influenced, by certain private sectors that, are starch contributors that make, a substantial amount of donations to them to remove certain material, deemed conspiracy, okay? And this is Amos 8 and 11. It says, Behold, the days come, saith the Lord Almighty, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of Yahweh. Okay? So Yahweh, make no mistake about it, he is the one that's behind all of this. And when this thing finally comes to pass, and it will come to pass, then, you're going to know, all right, that you were what? In the presence of a prophet. So these prophecies will come to pass, okay? One way or another. We're just giving you updates and giving you warnings beforehand so you can be prepared and be on the lookout, okay? So whether, this is the thing that, help kickstart the famine of the word, or whether it's not, we are, commanded to go out and be as a watchman and, sound the alarm when we see something coming, okay? So just be mindful of this election year, okay? Anything and everything is on the table, all right? So having that in mind, hey, when you don't hear the word and you don't see the word being, pushed as much as it once was on these other platforms, then you know exactly what to look for, okay? So I'm going to pull up one more article and then we're going to close out after that. Okay, this is from CBS News, and this is in the midst of, all this technology, being talked about, especially with the Neuralink, you got individuals that's worried, okay? And this is CBS News, and the headline reads, As mind reading technology improves, Colorado passes first in-nation law to protect privacy of our thoughts. You see? So with all this technology, improving, as we get closer and closer to the end of this thing, they're trying to give the people a peace of mind, saying that what? We're passing laws and putting laws on the, on the table that you don't have to worry about, your thoughts, being violated. Okay? And it says, if you think telepathy, it says, if you think telepathy or mind control is the stuff of science fiction, think again. Advances in artificial intelligence are leading to medical breakthroughs, once thought impossible, including devices that can actually read minds and alter our brains, right? And this is the madness that we're going into, okay? This is Esau Edom going into his bag, getting into the fulfillment of his, his blessings, okay? Bringing forth his hireling, bringing forth what he was hired to do, which is to be a hireling, fitted for destruction, okay? It says Dr. Sean Pawlowski, a neurologist at UC Health, Padre Valley Hospital, says there are now about 30 neurotechnology devices for sale on the internet, including Emotive, which he says is the first commercial-grade brain-to-computer interface. Anything you want to do, you can move your computer with your mind, and you can control it with your mind using this device. Now, I find that hard to believe. They're actually allowing you to buy something like this off the internet, and it actually works, and you can use it. That's wild, man. And I guess that's about it. Without paying for the article itself, you can't get too much on it. But, maybe we'll go and type in that actual product and see what it brings up. Give me 1 second. So here's the website, and it says explore the next frontier of brain technology. Okay, so they're allowing you to get a feel of what's to come. Okay, you can view all the products that they have, the software, the headset. You know, everywhere, everything is here. Okay, and this is where we're going at. All right. Now this isn't official because as it says in Revelation 13 and 16, he calls us all. He hasn't made it mandated, but this is the thing that you can look forward to, Okay. So, this is pretty pricey, for the average consumer to, spend something like this, $10,000. That's wild. It says cutting edge EEG solutions designed with precision and ease, experience unparalleled insights into brain activity, tailored for both personal growth and advanced scientific inquiry. And you have to ask yourself, is it really that necessary that you try to, use and expand your ability to use your brain as much as you can with this device? Is it really that necessary? Okay. This is the Epox X, a 14-channel wireless EEG headset. Then you got a 32-channel gel wireless EEG head cap system. I mean, you can see they are selling you the ability to become one with the machine. Transhumanism. They're selling you this, okay? But eventually they're going to make it mandatory, okay? The 2-channel wireless EEG earbuds, okay? And this is all in vain. This is all vanity, man. It says customer applications. Emotive's EEG devices are expanding our knowledge of the human brain and human behavior across hundreds of real world applications. Okay. And this is the epitome of, getting left behind. Because if you don't keep up with the Joneses, you're going to get left behind. You think that you're going to go into this man's new world society / order without being able to keep up with the rest of the society. You think somehow you're going to be able to bring that prehistoric ice age mindset idea into this man's 21st, 22nd, 23rd century technology? You're crazy, man. This is where it's going at, and either you get on board or you get left behind. Okay. And this is going inside your forehead. He's just giving you a look at it from the outside, but it's going to be inserted inside your forehead. Okay? You're going to be able to do everything, man. The BCI, the brain computer interface, scientific research, they doing it all. The world's #1 science back wireless EEG platform. And let me I'm kind of curious as to what EEG could stand for. It says EEG stands for electroencephalography, which is a medical test that measures the electrical activity of the brain. So it's a tool, it's a test that measures the electrical activity of the brain, basically. So this thing is measuring your thoughts, okay?
Electroencephalogram.
Electroencephalogram. Let me hear him say that again.
Electroencephalogram.
Electroencephalogram, all right, is a test or record of brain activity produced by the electroencephalogram. All right, so it's basically a way to measure your thoughts, okay, your patterns, your brain waves, okay. This is wild, man. This is the this is the future, okay, and people are on board with this. People are on board with this, and it's not going to be anything for them to actually want to, take whatever it is that they're offering so that they can further advance in their mind and their ideas a further civilization, to further, make this place more civilized, okay? And this is Matthew chapter 24 and verse 12. It says, Matthew 24 and 12, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. So there's no, morality left anymore in this place, in this society, because there's so much sin. This thing is going to be the norm. This is going to be, hey, this is what's in, is this new technology that you can become one with the machine like a cyborg, and what's out is the way of, how we once thought of this thing as being something that's, frowned upon, okay? But because of the love of many shall wax cold, it's lucky, but because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. So you're going to see people running to get this technology, okay? So don't be surprised or shocked, when you walk in or you standing next to somebody that can perceive to try to read your mind or your thoughts, okay? This is going to be the way they, take this next step, all right? So we here, okay? Now let's close out with 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 8, and this is going to be the end of updates with the word. This is 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 8, and it reads, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. And whether you are accepted of it or not, he is moving forward with his agenda, okay? He's not looking back, okay? He's only moving forward, okay? There's no need for him to go back to the 1940s or 80s or even the early 2000s. He's looking to move forward. And if you don't get on board, you're going to get left behind, okay? And if you're not, in the truth, and if you're not, seeking Yahweh, it's going to be a hard thing for you to try to get caught up and to make it when you get left behind, okay? You're going to be struggling out there, all right? And eventually you're going to fold and crack and come back to this man, and you're going to receive the assistance and the aid that he's offering, okay? You're going to ultimately take this when you could have just took it from the beginning, okay? Trying to, wait this man out, thinking that things are going to go back to the norm, and you're going to be sadly mistaken. And it's all because you didn't seek Yahweh while he may be found, okay? Isaiah 55 and 6, now you left to your own devices, all right? And a man left to his own devices, hey, it ain't going to be pretty, all right? So be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour, all right? And with that being said, I pray someone was edified through this lesson. And until the next time, if it be the Lord's will, stay strong, stay in the faith. We almost home. Shalom. Peace.